In this video, you're going to learn how you can use the PowerAI Vision toolkit. This toolkit allows you to build deep learning systems with ease, without having to worry about any of the architectures, code, or even underlying infrastructure. Best part is that you don't even need to worry about getting the toolkit set up, because the NIMBIX cloud platform allows you to spin up an instance of PowerAI Vision on the hardware of your preference instantly.
So hello there and welcome to another tutorial. My name is Tanmay Bakshi and this time we're going to be going over how you can use the PowerAI Vision platform on NIMBIX in order to create a cat-dog classifier neural network. Now this is very interesting. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to train an entire neural network system and deploy it as a REST API. It's going to help us do image classification in the cat-dog classification task that you may have seen my Watson visual recognition video, but the best part is that we're not going to be using any code at all. And not only are we going to be using a Watson visual recognition kind of system, rather we're going to be using PowerAI Vision, which uses neural network technology specifically to give you all the raw statistics, the metrics of how great your neural network system is running. It gives you the estimated time to train and all that other valuable information that you need while you're training your model. This is actually hosted on the NIMBIX cloud platform with their powerful Jarvis tool. In fact, there's going to be an entirely separate video about Jarvis and how it works and how you can use its REST API to control the NIMBIX cloud platform, spin up jobs, all that kind of stuff in a separate tutorial. But for today, we're going to be using the PowerAI Vision platform. Again, because it's powered by the PowerAI toolkit, which is essentially an IBM modified version of a bunch of different open source tools like TensorFlow, CAF, and so much more that are optimized to run on the Power platforms, that means that the neural networks that you're training are running as fast as they possibly can on Power hardware. They've been optimized for it, and of course you've got powerful NVIDIA GPUs going behind that training, and of course the powerful NVLink between the CPU and GPU allows you to have faster memory transfer speeds as well. But that's not talking about PowerAI. Now what I'd like to do is get over straight into the programming part, where I show you how you can use the NIMBIX cloud platform to start the PowerAI Vision tool, and then from there train a neural network in under around 5 to 10 minutes. Alright, so now let's get to the programming part.
Alright, so welcome back to the programming part, and now we're going to take a look at how you can actually implement this system. Let's get started. So now, as I mentioned, we're going to be using the dog-cat dataset, as I did in my Watson visual recognition tutorial. There will be a link to that in the description below. However, now, as you can see, I've already gone ahead and downloaded the dataset. I've unzipped it from its archive, and as you can see, Kaggle provides us with 12,500 images of cats and 12,500 images of dogs. So if I just keep scrolling down here, you'll see all the thousands of cats and dogs that we have. Now, these are all to be used to train the machine learning algorithm. However, there's a small catch. With the PowerAI Vision, I don't want to upload, say, 12,500 for each category right now, because for the video's purpose, that'll take a little bit of time to upload. So what I'm going to be doing for now is I'm going to be uploading, say, around 1,500 to 2,000 images per category, and we'll take a look at what our performance is like at the time. And depending on that, we can either give more if we're not satisfied, or if we are satisfied, we will be good to go to deploy with a REST API. Let's begin. So first thing that I'm going to do is, let's just say I want 2,000. So since we're starting at an index of 0, that's going to be around 1,999 images of cats, and then the same for dogs. So I'm just going to scroll down until we get the correct number of cats, right-click New Folder with Selection, and I'm going to name these, right as it's done moving, as cat. Alright, there we go. It's almost done moving those into a separate folder. While that, oh, perfect. Done. It's a little bit intensive. Alright, so there we go. We've got our first folder down. Let's just scroll down, and right as we reach dogs, we're going to do the exact same thing for dogs. We're going to select from the 0th dog to the 1,999th dog. Oh, somewhere here's our partition. Right there. Perfect. All right, so just scroll down a little bit too far. Perfect. So just right around here, we should see 1,999. There we go. Right click, new folder with selection. Once again, 2,000 images of dogs. There we go. It's moving it all into a separate folder. Right as that's done, we'll name both folders accordingly as they should, cat and dog. Number one being cat, number two being dog. And then we'll be training the machine learning system itself. All right, so cat, and if we just scroll back down again, we can see over here, dog. Perfect. We've got our two folders, which if we sort by the kind of file, we should be able to see. There we go, cat and dog folders, each containing 2,000 images that are entirely unique, and we are now ready to train the PowerAI Vision system. Now, before we can actually start using PowerAI Vision, we have to see where we can actually host it itself. So now I'm actually using the NIMBIX cloud platform to host PowerAI Vision. On the NIMBIX cloud platform, if I want to train this cat dog classifier and I want to spin up an instance of PowerAI Vision, it's as simple as quite literally clicking on PowerAI Vision, telling it what kind of hardware I want to run at. I can scale from 1K80 to 4K80s all the way up to 4P100 GPUs if I want to. And again, since it's powered by Power 8 architecture, we've also got NVLink that we can use. All right, so I am going to click on, let's just say, 1P100 GPU, as PowerAI Vision does not use multi-GPUs yet. We're also going to get 128 gigs of RAM, and in total, 32 threads from this Power 8 processor. Again, one of the great parts about Power is that we've got a lot higher threads per core. And so now we are able to submit, and there we go. Now, you might wonder, well, we were using Power 8 here. Isn't Power 9 out? Shouldn't we be using Power 9? And well, yes, the NIMBIX Cloud platform is indeed getting support for Power 9 currently. In fact, they're going to be hosting the AC922 nodes. If you were to take a look at that online, those are essentially the new Power 9 nodes that IBM's coming out with. Those are the highest end ones, or one of the highest end ones. They have two Power 9 CPUs to run really massively parallel operations on CPU as well, and all the way from 2 to 6 V100 GPUs instead of the Pascal 100 GPUs that we're using with Power 8 servers right now. Anyway, but that's going to be released very soon. For now, let's use Power 8 and the P100 GPUs already provided to us, and let's start by clicking on the Click Here to Connect button. That's all we had to do. NIMBIX has brought up the PowerAI Vision tool, and there we go. Just like that, I can start using it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new data set. And now, as you can see, either I can run an object detection task or I can run an image classification task. There's going to be another video on the object detection task. For now, let's open up the image classification task. All right, so as you can see, I can choose the data set's name. Let's just say cat dog. I can tell it which scenario we're running. I'm just going to click on other and not give it much information, assuming this is some kind of arbitrary use case. And of course, cat dog isn't in this list either. I click on add dataset and just give it around a minute, and it's going to process that and create a new dataset for you. Once it creates a new dataset, you have two options. Either A, you can zip up both those folders, bring some JSON information of the dataset itself into that, and then send it over to PowerAI Vision, or you can upload the raw images themselves. Now, what I usually do is I actually upload a new dataset with the actually zipped folders or files. So let's go ahead and do that now. So as you can see, we've created a new blank data set. Let's just add a category dog, and let's also add a category cat. All right, there we go. Now what I'm going to do is, even though there's nothing in this data set, I'm going to click on export as zip file. Now again, what you could just do is drag in, or actually, because we haven't uploaded anything here, it won't let us do that. Now again, as I was mentioning, you could just take the 2,000 cats and drag them into NIMBIX, or not NIMBIX, PowerAI Vision. And in fact, let's go ahead with that method for now. So there we go. I'm just going to go over to my downloads, over to train, go over to dog, There we go. Now I'm going to take all of the images in the dog folder, click on Open. Now it will go ahead and upload every single one of those images to Power AI Vision. And this might take a little bit of time. So what I'm going to do is instead of having you watch paint dry here, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video while it uploads. And right as it's done uploading, I will be right back. All right, so as you can see, we have successfully loaded in the 2000 dog images, and now it's time to load in the 2000 cat images. So again, I'm going to click on Select Images, go up a directory, go into the cat folder, select them all, click Open, and then we must wait a few more minutes, and then we should have all of our images ready in our dataset to train the deep learning model. All right, so this should take another 5 to 10 minutes, and we will be good to go. Alright, so as you can see, the cat images have now imported into the dataset, and we are now ready to actually train the deep learning model. So what you need to do now is just go back. As you can see, I mean, we've got the dataset ready, so you can go over to My Deep Learning Tasks in Power AI Vision. Once you're there, click on Create New Task, and this is where we can actually start training the neural net. Click on Classification to let it know that we're not doing object detection, and I'm going to call this Cat Dog Try 1. There we go. I'm going to tell it to use the cat dog dataset, and I'm going to tell it to use the precise first training strategy. If you want to train in a hurry, you can use speed first, or you can customize this to fit your needs. Let's just say I increase the maximum number of iterations to 2,000, test iterations to 100, test intervals to 20, and from there the learning rate to 0.001 and the weight decay to 0.0005. All right, there we go. Now what I'm going to do is click on Build Model, and there we go. So now what it's going to do is it's going to give us an estimated time, which is currently 21 minutes, but it's usually a lot less than the estimated time. So I'm going to click on Create New Task, and there we go. All right, so now as you can see, the model is truly training. It's currently starting up the task, which is why you can't see much. However, usually when you use tools like, for example, IBM Watson visual recognition, you're kind of left in the dark as to what exactly the accuracy is and all those other metrics that you really want to know, like the loss. However, in just a moment, when the Power AI Vision neural net actually starts training, you'll be able to see that Power AI Vision actually shows us all the different stats about this model. If you want, you can actually go ahead and refresh, and it should show the graphs. Again, in around a minute or so, right as it actually initializes everything and imports the data, it will be showing us those graphs, and I'll be back right as those graphs appear. After that, we'll wait for the model to train, we'll take a look at it, we'll deploy it in a REST API, and implement that REST API in Python. Alright, so let's take a look at the model and how it trains. Alright, so as you can see, the model is currently training. Our graphs have appeared, And on the left, you can see the training loss. This is a loss value on the training data set. As expected, this is indeed going down. On the right, you can take a look at the testing loss, and again, thankfully, this is indeed going down, meaning that the neural network is starting to generalize to the data, because the test data is indeed showing a low loss. And we can also take a look at our accuracy. As you can see, over time, this is going up. It has a little, kind of plateaued here, but then again, though, if we give this a little bit of time, this should increase. And even right now, it is extremely accurate. We've already reached 97.2% accuracy, and we can only expect it to get higher from here. Of course, this is only 820-ish training iterations in. This is increasing every single second. So let's take a look at what actually happens when we reach around 1500 and then 2000. However, PowerAI Vision also does show us an estimated time left, which is currently around 140 seconds. So around, say, like 2 minutes, a little bit more than 2 minutes. So we will be back in just a few minutes. I'm going to speed up the footage, and let's take a look at how the neural network trains and generalizes. All right, so as you can see, the model is now successfully done training, and we are ready to deploy the neural network model. However, just before we go, I'd like to show you the final statistics. As you can see, we have successfully gone through 2,000 entire training iterations and have reached a test or train loss of 0.00552. So that is actually very, very low. And of course, as you can see, we've reached a test loss of 0.07. And so we have reached an accuracy of around 98%, which is considerably high, actually very high, considering the fact that we had to do absolutely no coding. The architecture development and everything else was all handled by PowerAI Vision. You don't need to care about any of the underlying infrastructure, the scalability, or anything else, because PowerAI Vision takes care of that for you automatically. And you don't even need to care about getting PowerAI Vision set up in the first place. You just sign up for an account with NIMBIX, spin up a server on any hardware that you desire, and PowerAI Vision will adapt to it. It's that simple. All right, so now as you can see, the neural network model done training again, but let's go ahead and deploy it. All right, so as you can see, it is indeed creating a web API out of it. Just before we do that, though, I'd like to show you the My Trained Models page. As you can see, this is our cat dog model over here. We can see the accuracy that it's reached, and we can actually go ahead and run an action on it too. For example, I can even export the model as a zip file if I want to. I can mark it as a sample model, do really whatever else I want to. But anyway, let's go back over to the web APIs and let's run a test on it. All right, there we go. So now that we are at the run test page, we are ready to go ahead and upload new images and actually run them against the model to see what it gives us. So I'm going to upload my own image here. Now, again, we don't want to give any images that were already in the training set that we gave the neural network model. So outside of the dog and cat folders, let's just say I choose a different cat. I'm going to upload that into the PowerAI Vision software. And there we go. As you can see, if I were to zoom in here, for example, you can see that there's this slightly, not exactly the correct, I guess you could say, aspect ratio, sorry. So it's not the correct aspect ratio. It was squished down to work with the neural network size, but you can see that this is an image of a person holding a cat. And so, as you can see, over here, what's this? This is a heat map of where the neural network saw specific attributes that led it to believe that this is an image of a cat. This is something that you don't get with most other neural network-based softwares either. Even if you were to develop your own neural network architecture, it would take you some time to implement the entire attention mechanism to get this kind of heat map working. Luckily, though, this is done automatically through PowerAI Vision, and if you were to take a look at the right here, it correctly classifies this as a cat with 99.149% confidence. It is that simple to get up and running with PowerAI Vision. In fact, let's go ahead and feed in the dog image, shall we? So I'm just going to scroll down over to my dogs here. And over here, as you can see, this is an image of a dog. Let's feed it into the neural network software. And as you can see, this is so sure that it has actually rounded its accurate or its confidence up from 99 point however many nines there were to 100% confidence. As you can see, this is the dog, this is the heat map, this is where the neural network saw whatever it saw in the image that led it to believe that there is indeed a dog in this image. As you can see, it has learned to generalize to the face. It's not focusing on any of the other features. In fact, if you want to take a look at some more examples, let's just say we were to take this cat over here. This cat shows its entire sort of body here, and it's just sitting down with no obstructions. If we were to feed that in, what does the heat map look at? You can see that the neural network has generalized to find specifically faces. That's what it's really good at looking for. If there's a cat face or a dog face, that's what it looks at and recognizes. You can also see that it kind of looks over here at the tail and the rest of the outline of the body, like the legs. But the number one thing by far is the head of the cat itself. This is very, very fascinating. The heat map gives you insight into why the neural network makes the decisions that it makes, and also how the neural network makes the decisions as well. In fact, if we were to do something similar with a dog here, as you can see, for example, here, the dog's not showing its face. Let's see what the neural network actually thinks. As you can see, it still thought it's a dog because it realized there's no face visible, and it inferred based off of the rest of the body that it is indeed a dog. And you can see that or that inference that it made through the heat map over here. And then, of course, you can combine the heat map and the actual image. You can find out how you can actually, for example, crop items or objects out of images. And in fact, in my next video, I'm going to be showing you how you can run full-on object detection with the PowerAI Vision platform. And plus, I'm going to be showing you how you don't even need to train full-on machine learning models in the first place, or manually train or manually label that data, because instead you can actually use pre-trained neural networks to help you label that data in the first place. That is coming up in the next edition of my PowerAI Vision series. Alright, so that was a quick tutorial as to how you can use the PowerAI Vision platform to recognize cat and dog images. Really do hope you enjoyed that tutorial. You were able to learn how you can actually use PowerAI Vision and how you can train deep learning models that simply. Again, we started with the NIMBIX Darvice platform. What happened is you could actually spin up an instance of PowerAI Vision without dealing with anything. All you do is you tell it that you want to start PowerAI Vision, you tell it which hardware you want to use, and it does it for you instantly. After that, we actually used the PowerAI Vision software, which allowed us to quite simply upload images into the software, and right as the images were in, all we needed to do is set a machine learning model to train. You can set the hyperparameters however you want to, and once you set the hyperparameters, it'll train on your GPU hardware. It is that simple. From there, though, you can actually deploy that trained machine learning model onto a REST API, a web API, and once it's on a web API, you can then actually send new images over, and not only does it give you back those images with the predictions as to what class they are, instead it also gives you a heat map as to where the neural network was most activated, where it actually thought that, hey, this is a dog or this is a cat. And that is how the PowerAI Vision platform works. Again, we had to fiddle around not at all with the actual architectures of the neural network, the way the underlying infrastructure works. It was all handled for us automatically. And we reached an astounding 98% accuracy on the test data, which usually takes quite a bit of work to get done, even with a simple library like Keras. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in today. That's going to sum up what I had for this tutorial. Of course, if you did enjoy, please do make sure to leave a like down below and share the video if you believe it could be helpful for anyone that you know, like your family or friends. Apart from that, though, if you have any more questions, suggestions, or feedback, leave it down in the comment section below. Tweet it to me at tadjimani@gmail.com, or you can email it to me at tadjimani@gmail.com. Apart from that, though, if you really do like my content and you do want to see more of it, please do consider subscribing to my YouTube channel as well and enable notifications if you'd like to be notified whenever I release new content. All right, again, thank you very much, everyone. That's all for this tutorial. Goodbye.